Dragon Ball Z are androids 17 and 18, but you know, there's so much mystery surrounding them. The show never completely explains their origins, other than that Dr. Gero made them what they are. But where do they really come from? Since they're actually human, which technically makes them cyborgs and not androids, there has to be more to the story. Well, today I'm going to reveal as much as I can on this subject. Welcome to Dragon Ball Z Q&A. So to get started with this, we first have to look at their maker, Dr. Gero. You see, Gero was an evil super genius slash mad scientist who somewhere along his academic career decided that he should try to take over the world. So he used his influence to raise an army that was somehow strong enough to challenge the collective nations of the world, and was even smart enough to put a puppet leader in place so that he could operate undisturbed from the shadows. But they was quickly defeated by a 13-year-old martial arts student who was apparently bulletproof. After his humiliating defeat, he was forced to go into hiding, considering he was at this point an international criminal. And he swore that he would get revenge on Goku, although unlike most villains, he never actually says any of this directly to Goku. Instead, he started stalking him with a spy bug. It was Gero's original plan to study Goku and make an android that was strong enough to ensure victory without question, but that plan never really panned out. Not that he was doing anything wrong, but that he was doing something just a little too right. You see, he had plenty of experience creating androids. In fact, he had successfully made at least 8 androids before his plans for vengeance and 16 before he started the Cell Project. So with all his success, what was the real problem? Basically, they just wouldn't listen to him, and not because of some malfunction either. They all worked perfectly fine, and had even developed their own personalities, some good, some bad. But none of them ever really wanted to carry out his wishes. They either ignored him or tried to kill him. This is all due to the fact that Gero actually created an AI program so advanced that his androids had a true sense of free will, and was even capable of rejecting any pre-established commands aside their programming. So in a way, Gero was so smart that he kept outsmarting himself. At this point, he decided to stop with the androids and try a biomechanical soldier that he could teach like an actual child, lessening the chances for rejection. And thus he started with Project Cell. Still using his creeper spy bug, he began collecting DNA from Goku and any other worthy specimen by extracting the blood they left behind from their fights, and combining them into one ultimate fighter. Now this project took a seriously long time to complete considering all the science that was involved, and the fact that even though the fights were brutal, they only ever happened once every few years. Plus, he also knew that he was going to need a pair of sacrificial host bodies that Cell could assimilate with in order to reach his full potential. And that's where 17 and 18 come in. You see, he knew that he could not just use any 2 people. They would first have to be genetically compatible for assimilation, not only with Cell but also with each other. And to maintain structural balance, one would have to be male and the other female. So the best option was to go for a set of maternal twins. Now, knowing that no one would ever volunteer for this type of experiment, and that being an international criminal means you can't use adoption services, he would have to do some kidnapping. And to keep from attracting attention to himself, he would have to take them while they were living on the streets. Sounds difficult, but not really when you consider there are around 100 million homeless children in the world, and that 3.31% of births result in twins. That means that there are around an estimated 3,310,000 homeless twins that he could snatch up without fear of detection. Now comes the hard part, finding twins that are compatible enough to work for Cell. This means that he most likely went through several twins before he found the right pair. They would have to be very young to ensure compatibility, but since they never identified Gero as a parent, this also means that they were old enough to know that they had been kidnapped. So he was probably taking children between the ages of 6 and 10. Now once he found the right twins, he knew some reprogramming was necessary. Plus he had to make them stronger to ensure Cell's power increased once he had absorbed them. But he had to keep them human enough to keep them, well, edible. So this means trying to wipe their memories, although it's safe to say that he did not do a very good job of that. Then implanting some sort of organic power cells that could keep them at a constant level of strength. He did a great job of that. And then equipping them with a failsafe so he can power them down whenever he needed to. Could have done just a little bit better on that one. Once finished, he removed their old names from their memories and renamed them Androids 17 and 18, although he should have named them Cyborgs 1 and 2 considering they were cyborgs and not androids. Just saying. So at the end of the day, we can say for sure that these two were living on the streets, most likely somewhere in Europe considering their look and mannerisms, and were somewhere between the ages of 6 and 10 at the time they were taken. This all explains why they continuously rejected Gero and killed him the first chance they got, and why after they were free they did not go home, because they had no home to go to. But that's okay, because regardless of how mysterious or messed up their early lives were, at least we know that in the end things worked out for the better. 18 marries Krillin, the strongest natural human in the world, and raises a family under the comforting protection of ridiculously powerful friends. And Akira Toriyama has officially revealed that 17 becomes a park ranger at a natural preserve, marries a zoologist, and even adopts some kids. Who would have thought that he loved animals so much? Could have sworn that was 16's thing, or maybe he did it in memory of an old friend. Well, that's all we have for this one. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and a subscribe, and if you have a Dragon Ball Z question that you would like to have answered, leave it in the comment section below. Till next time, my friends.